Hi, I'm montze.t,
And Veronica.
and today we're doing CRE 3, and for this assignment, I'm asking Vero, what is one thing that you would like to clear up for the topics about suicide or abortion to the public, to every living American, and how do you think society would change as a result of highlighting this piece of information?
I think that one of the most important highlighted things would have to be like the stigma of people thinking, oh, like if they talk about suicide, they're not actually going to do it, or if they don't, or like they seem so happy they never talked about it, they're not actually going to do it. Kind of like either way, it can go either way in that situation, because I feel like people always think like, oh, like she's always saying, like making jokes about it, like this and that, like it's just a joke, like she would never actually do it. And it's kind of a way of like people using like comic relief to like try and get help in a way, because they're not just gonna be like, hey, like I'm feeling this way, like I need help. They're gonna be like making jokes about it, or like maybe just like not in a way that you would traditionally be like, oh yeah, like this is a red flag. So I think it's very important for people to see between the lines in those kinds of situations, because that's like the only way that we'll be able to like fully help people. Same with like when you like the other side of the spectrum, where you're like, oh, they seem so happy, like I would have never guessed, like, oh, they don't need help, they seem so happy, like they love their life. Like people are fighting internal battles that like we never know.
Yeah.
If like they're going through anything, like we could just be sitting here and like the person next to us is just seems so content with their life, but they could be going through something, and like this is just like a stigma that people are like, oh, like I will only help people if they do like call out for help. Like we need to make sure that like if like you know your friends and you know your family and you realize that they're like acting different, or like seeing that like even if it seems minuscule, like they just seem sadder today than they did yesterday, just make sure you're checking in on them, because like I would say about probably like 40% of people who actually do end up committing suicide like never reached out for help, never really like leaned on their like peers, because one of the things about suicide is the fact that you don't want to burden the people around you.
Yeah.
So that's like the last resort to them. It's like, oh, I don't want to get help because I don't want to be a burden, and then they just end up dealing with it by themselves.
Yeah, and overall, like, I feel like if this is applied to society, like, it could end up helping people futuristically. And so, what data or evidence would you use to support you when presenting this to, like, every American?
I would show the statistics of the people who didn't necessarily ask for help, or just didn't get taken seriously when they did ask for help, and how many of those actually ended up committing suicide, because I think that people really underestimate the idea of people not asking for help and things like that. So I think that if you really put into perspective like the family members of people who have ended up committing suicide and what they have to say about them not able to read the signs, or being like, oh, I thought they were just joking, like I think that information and data would be really powerful to really enlighten people onto what they should do next.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you.